welcome to the first episode of Make It Easy, the podcast. You know me already, music's out there, circulating, but now we're taking it to a new level, yeah? 2021, transition year. It's been a difficult year for a lot of people, yeah? We want to talk about those things. We're going to talk about music, we're going to talk about culture, we're going to talk about hot topics. We're going to talk about everything that's relevant to us, yeah? Today I've got a very special guest. He's going to be with us shortly. We're going to get straight into it. We're here today. I want to send a shout out and a thank you to BCFM. They're letting us use their space, Studio 2. It's a blessing. Community love is important. Stay tuned, yeah? First episode of Make It Easy. I am your host, B to the E to the Z. Be easy, powers that be. And we got my first guest coming up real quick. Gonna get straight into it. It's gonna be a great show, the first of many. Stay tuned. Yes, we're here. It's the first episode of the Be Easy podcast, Make It Easy. I'm very excited. It's a new plateau, a new chapter in my career. Without further ado, we're gonna get straight to it. We got my special guest, my first guest, Mr. Kevin Philman. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Blessed to be here too.
Oh, it's a blessing.
Yeah,
it's
blessed.
a blessing. So, how you doing? How's things?
I'm good in the midst of the pandemic. It still feels like we have a lockdown going on. Nobody's free as yet. So
No one's free.
We're not free. We still got to mask up. We still got to do a lot of things. So I'm well in the midst of all of that. I'm going to say, yeah, it's good.
That's good. Obviously, it's Black History Month.
Yes.
So, what does that mean to you?
I don't really care about Black History Month.
Oh, thank you. Explain to me why.
Because every day is history.
Okay.
You made history not so long ago when I witnessed one of your tracks being produced in your own studio. That is history to me. That wasn't even in October, right? Again, Black history always tends to take us back to the generation or the decades that really doesn't matter today.
Yeah.
What about history that's getting made yesterday? What about history that's getting made tomorrow? Yeah, it's still Black history, so it's continuous. So even though I do acknowledge the month of Black History Month, if we didn't have a month that acknowledges our forefathers,
There'll still be history.
There'll still be history, but if we didn't have that month, maybe we'll start complaining. Oh, how come we don't have a period where we look up? It's good because it's why I think it's good. It's a period. It's a month where the whole of the UK can really acknowledge Black people, not just Black people acknowledging their history, but the majority of the UK are doing so. And so it's good month to go into schools and stuff like that to talk about our history.
Definitely.
I like it in that sense.
Yeah. And it raises awareness.
It raises awareness, absolutely.
Cool. So speaking of history,
Yeah.
What is your history with in terms of music and culture? Like, how has that had an effect on your life throughout? So obviously you are what you are now. We'll get into that later. But from a young person, what impact did music have on you specifically?
Okay. Well, you're taking me back to Liverpool now. The very early days. Well, I grew up in Liverpool in the 80s, and quite tense period for growing up as a Black person in the country as a whole. And Liverpool being my hometown, I'd like to say it's my hometown. Music was the only thing we had.
Yeah.
When I saw it as R&B, but hip hop and poetry seems to resonate a lot more with us during the period. I come from a generation where we listened to Public Enemy, we listened to X-Clan, we listened to Last Poets, and we were quite influenced by what they were talking about because it resonated with our situation
and the struggle
at the time. It was tense. I mean, I left school with no GCSEs or absolutely nothing, not because I didn't have the capacity or capability to study at the highest level, which I did eventually, just because I wasn't guided, mentorship, and so we had to record and rely on music to give us that mentorship and that motivation. I was part of the very first ever hip hop band from Liverpool. We were called Band 2.
Okay.
Taken from obviously South African
Yeah.
warrior kind of stuff. And our music was very much reflection of what we're going through as youngsters in Liverpool. You know, just after the riots as well. So reflective of what that era meant to me. I think it was a period where I still did not know myself, even though I was in the band. I knew we had limits, we had boundaries, because so tense, even Liverpool City Centre, I could not go into Liverpool City Centre during the period by myself.
Wow.
I had to go with a crew of people,
Yeah.
maybe 2 or 3. And there have been times where I had to run for my life, you know, because obviously it was hard for black people to get around. We were all contained in one area called Toxted. Obviously now you go to Toxted, it's a different ballgame, because gentrification will come in and everybody spread out across the city. So music, to answer your question, music was definitely a way out for us as youngsters in Liverpool during the period.
So
Absolutely.
talk about the band, talk about what you did, what you achieved, how it kind of, not necessarily ended, I don't like to say ended, but how it came to the plateau of what it was.
Well, the band was instigated by a good friend of mine, actually. Someone I find it really hard to reach, because he's so hard to reach even today. He's not doing any music or nothing. His name was Ibrahim Usaifa.
Okay.
And he started the band, and he needed another rapper. He looked on and looked for a guy called Calvin Smida. We were all friends at the time. Calvin Smida was A#1. Ibrahim Usaifa was Oski Osk. I was on the decks. I was KD Light.
Okay.
So I was the DJ. I was in the back with maybe one microphone. You know.
So you was the Jam Master J.
I was the Jam Master J at the time, cutting and spinning the wheels and stuff like that. You know, pretty much in control, because I have to let the tracks play for them to rap. Exactly. So we started the band. Almost immediately we were shown a lot of interest by a guy called Hambi Haralambos.
Okay.
He's late now. Hambi fortunately died during the COVID. He died of COVID.
Oh wow.
He used to be in the band himself many years ago. Hambi and the Hambi. It was a band he was in the 70s. So he signed us. He said, "I'll give you a studio deal."
Oh wow.
The studio deal is you can use the recording studio. I'll find you. I'll be your manager, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. So we recorded almost 3 albums worth of material. And Hambi we were playing very tense Liverpool. We're going to the worst areas, like in Bristol, for instance. If you say in the 80s, there were places that black people couldn't go to, say maybe Kingswood or
West,
all those places. We were playing at those type of tense areas. Those were the places we get those gigs in community centres. We played at Pickhead, the Philemon. We played with some of the best acts in the UK at the time as well. So our music was very reflective of our environment, the tension that we went through as young people, and the breakout that we were seeking, which we never, got during the time. But music definitely made us express ourselves in different ways, and it was a way to really release a lot of tension, a lot of stress as well. So we never got signed. We walked away from a deal.
Okay.
In 1992, the band started in 1988. In 1992, there was a deal on the table only because we had one track. That one track was called Fatima. It was the only R&B track that we've ever recorded.
Okay.
Everything was hardcore.
Yeah.
And we had an interest from Sony Music at the time, and they wanted to sign Fatima as a single deal.
Okay,
right? And with the possibility of additional tracks. But Ibrahim was quite particular about what we're about. If Fatima was released, we'll be sending out the wrong message to people that that's what we're about, because an R&B track. And this chorus was something like, we're gonna sing, gonna shout, gonna tell you about my love for this girl I call Fatima. Oh oh. Really catching. We had a guy called TJ on vocals on that one. TJ still lives in Liverpool. One of the best singers I've ever heard. He was groomed by the Real Thing and people like that at the time. So he rocked the vocals on that like crazy. So if you hear the track, you will love the track.
But for you, it was a bit too poppy.
It wasn't, because Ibrahim was the leader of the band.
Okay.
Right. To be honest, didn't reflect what Bantu was about. It's just an R&B commercial.
Yeah,
track.
just a nice song.
So we, the deal was, you take that deal or, walk away from it. So we suggested that, okay, why don't you release Fatima as a second track, but let's use Killer Bo Black or Mass Alarm or Switch, which is like really track that reflected what Bantu was about we trying to break out of our community tension. The record company said no. Fortunately, that's how we worked out of the deal.
Yeah.
And that was the end of Bantu.
Okay, so you heard that here first, yeah? No one hasn't heard that before. So now that you've experienced that,
Yeah.
What would you advise another young person who was about to get a deal that was maybe a bit more, how would I say, conscious with their music, a bit more maybe militant as you were, but they have other songs that are maybe the commercial songs? Would you advise them to take the deal with the commercial song and then make other songs after? Or would you still say that walking away is the right thing to do today?
Okay, today, if I'm allowed, I'll talk about a few other things. Today is easier. Right, okay. From Bantu came another band. We were the first swing beat band in Liverpool, but this was a production setup. Myself and a guy called Wesley. And Wesley is the cousin of A1, who was one of the rappers in Bantu. Yeah, he was his cousin. So we started another band almost straight after Bantu dissolved. So this was a production suite. What did we have? This happened in 1993, right? We already had the samplers, we already had the Cubase on the Atari ST. You already have your own recording setup, which will give you, Cubase audio will give you a capacity to record your own vocals at home. So we were set up like that. So the the idea now was, okay, you record the music, because we're recording everything in my bedroom upstairs. Me and Wesley. Wesley's father played most of the riffs for Billy Ocean.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's a guitarist. He played most of the riffs for Billy Ocean. So we recorded all these tracks. So we needed an outlet. We weren't going to go through any record company deals or something. So let's just see what we can do by ourselves, which we did. So things became easier. But now, today, it's even a lot easier. Why do you want to look for a record deal when you can be your own record dealer? You could sell your own music. If you have what you need today as a young person is a marketing strategy for what you're doing. Because you have everything. You have the internet. We didn't have all of this when we were doing our stuff. We were printing white labels on records, and I would travel to London, go and give them to DJs, physically give them to DJs and say, play this. We didn't even get interviews, not to mention. It was just wanting your tracks to be played in the club. But look at what the situation is today. The young person that's recording today, if you were in that situation when, during the Bantu days, it's really hard for me to make that decision for any young person, because the situation will be different. We had a reason not to take the deal because it didn't reflect what we're doing. The reason why we were in the band was because of what we were feeling. We didn't just want to make hip hop because we like beats. That's why we were able to walk away from it and said we didn't want to do it no more and do other things. Today, Calvin is a labor counselor, is in politics. Ibrahim runs a massive school. These are all educated people. So we had other attributes we had to do. So if you're in the music for the commercial reason, which means you just want to make some dollars and you don't mind being exploited, because you will get exploited, right? Then do it. Do that. Sign what you want to do. But it is a very tough world out there. If you're famous, if you're a popular artist and stuff like that, it's not an easy journey. You can see it from Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, or a lot of people of the greats. You look at what they go through. Look at R. Kelly today. So it's not. You've got to be very careful out there. You've got to be really, really careful. That's my take. If you're happy to go through that, fine. But a young person today, be your own enterprise. Create your own stuff. Try and manage your own beats. You will get that following you require. There's no doubt. You will get that following. Just be consistent and have a strategy that you do in 5 years, you'll be there. I hope I've answered that question, because the 80s was different. The 80s and 90s was totally different from now. Now everything is just at your fingertip. That's the way I see this world.
That's a
music
great answer. And I like the fact that I like the fact that you spoke about the reasons. So I feel that even though, like you said, it's easier now to market, I feel the integrity aspect of being a musician is the same.
It's the same.
Because music is from your soul. As a musician, I'm a musician myself. As a musician, music is from your soul, it's from your heart, it reflects your outview on the world. And there's nothing wrong with making money. I make money from music, but I'll be honest, yeah, I probably make more money from music from selling beats to other people that talk about things that I don't talk about because of the integrity aspects.
Integrity is important in everything we do in life. And when you're a musician, you have authority, you have power. Why? Because it's your own platform to exercise your knowledge, exercise your thinking, exercise your mind through a microphone. And the power that you have is, I'm going to be listening to it. I'll have to listen to you. You have people listening to you. So what do you do with that power that you have? Do you spit out knowledge, you spit out motivational words, or you just want to dance to the club, get drunk, and talk rubbish? That's why I like consciousness. I also like commercial music, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the beat takes it away, you don't listen to the lyrics, say, well, this is the fat beat right here. You know what I mean? So, so all of that, and it's just, as a black person growing up, why do we want to preach nonsense to the youngsters that will be listening to you? I think it's just the opportunity to, stay safe and try and preach some kind of goodness for people to follow. But the industry, unfortunately, I don't think they want that.
Well, the thing is,
because they have to sell records.
Exactly, with the industry, that doesn't make them money, unfortunately. So for them, they're not as interested in our communities and how we grow together as they are, because they're a private company. They're about money.
They're about money.
And that's
you can also be about money because the world is full of people. Rather than just be a Bristol artist, you're a world artist.
Thank you. So talk about that some more, because we had a conversation a few weeks ago when we were talking about my music and the marketing, as you spoke about, and the importance of not limiting yourself to where you are or where you were born, and to actually share your music worldwide.
That's absolutely true, and the power of the internet has done it so much for everyone now that you can basically push on a button, you can get somebody listening to your track 20 million miles away if you like. I think it's important to always remember this. You're an artist, number one. Number two, you're not a locality artist, you're a world artist, because you want people to listen to you. We always have to think about life outside your comfort zone. And one thing I always looked for when I recorded and when I'm still making beats at home today, because I've got some youngsters who are my kids who just got rhythm in them. So I need to exploit that a little. One thing you always have to remember is that it's so important. I almost lost my thoughts to the level of thought there. It's so important to get that music out, not just to your peers. Also important to look for some critical analysis to your music. Don't look for the people that are telling you, I like that beat, I like that beat. Say thank you. Seek for the ones that will say, listen, you could have done this better, you could have done this better, you can improve that. Maybe the track doesn't need that. Maybe it's such a banging track. If you have one person tell you, well, you could have done this better, but there's yes out there guys who just want to sing your praises, and you get that in your locality. That's why you need to expand. You need to go out and get people typing and talking about your song. Some people might not want to say anything to your face because they don't know you. They are free to talk to you. So, but the joy of having that capacity to transcend your music, to transcend your beats across the world, exploit it, get out there, forget about the locality. Your locality is not, you're bigger than your locality. You're bigger than Liverpool, you're bigger than Bristol, you're bigger than just being in St. Paul's. That's why the power of the internet is great. So we always try to seek, and again, stepping out of your comfort zone. I think we need to remember that if you're making music, you want people to hear it, you have to be ready to put yourself out there for interviews today. And don't seek interviews just from your locality. You already have your support from your locality, you do. Like, you want to go out, don't get to Manchester, get to London, take a trip, make your connections, which is where we all kind of don't do things, you know, we hinder sometimes. You need to spend time and make that connections, make that link with DJs, take time to find out which DJs are there, which venues are there, who can I tag along with to play in their city, who can I tag, you know, world is small. You know, you think about New York as well, think about it. Bantu, Ibrahim was just a fantastic guy. He had connection with Def Jam Records. We had tracks produced by David DMX. David DMX was one of the, you know, he was a DJ. Check him out online, David DMX. He plays bass for Public Enemy now. Yeah. He produced. We were very good friends. Tashan, Chuck D. You know, he did, you know, some production on some of our tracks as well during the time. You know, they were. Ibrahim was in New York more than anything. I didn't go on those streets. Well, Ibrahim was there because he knew a lot of people, and that's why we're able to work with Jalam Mujahideen from the Last Poet. You know, so you need to get yourself out. Get yourself out. You know, don't worry about it. Just take time, make those links, make those contacts. If it's just sending them Christmas greetings when it's Christmas or something, they will appreciate that. And the next time they're doing a gig or something, they'll remember you.
You heard that advice here first.
I hope it works.
These are gems. These are gems, honestly. Now, moving on from the music, as you were speaking about connections and links, I want to talk about the disconnect that there is between young people and the older generation. I'm not going to give an age bracket on it, but you know, I mean, within certain communities, and I want to talk about the impact that that's having and how you think that we can take positive steps to change those things moving forward.
Yeah, that's an issue in our communities, isn't it? It doesn't only happen in the Black community, I have to say. It happens in other communities, white communities as well. It's because obviously it's been quite a struggle for Black people, Blackness across the world. It's not just Bristol, across the world. A lot of disconnect that we see here in the diaspora is as a result of what's gone on before. So, you know, I still struggle to, you know, if you look at maybe the Asian community, those that were born here, their experiences are different from our Black community, those that are born here. We still struggle to, you know, decide whether we are British or Caribbean or African. All right. So disconnect comes down to one level for me, because I became a one parent and I raised my son. My son is pretty old now. He's 33. I raised him on my own and I try to be there for him. I guess it comes down to parenting, first and foremost, which is a hard one because it's not easy to be a parent. And when you look at our communities, we, like some of the other communities around us, there is single parenting, which a lot of us struggle with. I have members of my family who I see how they struggle with being a single mother, raising children. So they have to have a life too. They have to have a life too. So when you look at a single mother raising children, when boys become, I mean, when you say disconnect, we always point fingers at the boys, you know, Black boys. That's what we think about, young Black boys. But there's also a disconnect with Black girls too.
100%.
You know, that's why we have youngsters having kids, children at a very young age. So when we look at the Black boys, the Black boy needs his father around him. And once that's missing, you don't blame the mother because boys need the father figure to guide and protect their minds. You know, so that disconnect is there already. And, you know, I'm a man, so I'm going to take some responsibilities here, which means Black men in general, we need to take some responsibilities where our boys are concerned. How we, you know, how much involvement do we have in their lives? That's a question. So you look at disconnecting the community itself, that has a lot to play here. We're in totally different periods now where access to information is easy, but what information are your children accessing, and how are they controlled? You know, how they controlled. You know, people talk about me and you were in a conversation just before with some people downstairs, and they talked about a young man saying blame drill music, and I said why? Why do you have to blame drill music for this? He said, well, okay, that's again, it's a power. Remember I was talking about power before?
In music, yeah.
Power, you have power. So what are you sending out with your mouth? What are you sending out with your voice? You have power. So if you send the wrong things out, those young people are going to access the wrong things.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to take it home, you know. And the struggling mothers who are out there, or even some single fathers, how do you want them to take it? Not everything is, we lost the same kind of relationship with our children, you know, because there's other devices, that are controlling them without your own knowledge. And music, unfortunately, is one of those devices that does that. So I look at the disconnect has a lot of factors to it, and it's not just music. We have to look at the economic stability or the economic situation of Black people, because when you talk about disconnect, we're really focusing on Black people, aren't we? What are we like economically? We look at history, we look at racism, you know. There's a struggle. The struggle is still going on until we start, you know, trying to address it within what you call a community come together. Do we still have a community? Someone asked me that the other day, because I think the 80s, we had a much more stronger community. And if you even go further back to the 60s, the 50s, you know, you find that the Black community was a lot more stronger. So,
do you know, it's funny you say that, because when I was growing up, I'm not going to give out my age, it's okay. When I was growing up, I had youth centres, yeah? But as I got to around college, youth centres closed. And there's a gap. It creates a space where me and my friends that were going to a place to play pool or going to see the youth worker to make music, we couldn't do that anymore, so we had to go out on the roads, and that's what we did. So, and I think, like you said, there was probably more community unity then in the 80s, just because the communities were bigger and less fragmented. There was a lot more people in one place. And
you have like an elder.
Yeah,
you have someone there
that's
who's guiding you as a youngster.
Exactly.
My youth centre in Liverpool was a place called the Methodist Centre. We had pool table, basketball, and you know, this guy called Woody who taught mathematics next door. You know, if your parent comes and say, well, you need some maths, you go in there. So and there's a youth mentor who's around the place to make sure everybody's guided. And when you finish, you're going home.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's your evening. So you don't have as much opportunity to not do positive things. So.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so it's important. It is important.
It is important.
Okay, so we've touched on that. We've touched on history. Now I want to talk about music today. Yeah. One question. R. Kelly. Yeah. Is it okay to listen to his music based on recent events? You don't have to answer.
I'll answer. I think it's subjective. I think it's up to you. His music is always going to be there. The radio stations might not play his music, and we know that, but his music is always going to be there. And I don't want to lie, the guy made a lot of good music.
He made a lot of great songs.
He made a lot of great songs, but speaking to some, you know, people that I know, and they say, well, he made great songs, but when they listen back to those songs, it's reflective of what he's been charged for, what he's been found guilty for. So they don't feel comfortable listening to the music. Okay, let's look at one of his biggest songs, I Believe I Can Fly, or the world's greatest. Those are motivational songs which will encourage anyone. So you could maybe separate his love songs, siphon out his gospel and his motivating and conscious tracks, and retrieve them. Possibly that's what I would do. I don't know. I want to separate the man from the music.
From the art, exactly. Great answer.
That's what I like to do.
Great answer. That's a great answer. So, in terms of musical influences in your life, and this is going to be our difficult question. Who is, if you had to pick one, we'll do male and female, I like to be equal. Who is your number one male artist? What's your favourite song from that person?
I wish you warned me about this
No,
one.
no, you don't get no points for this one. This is,
Oh, whoa.
and I'm just gonna say this: when you say favorites can change, and they do change depending on your mood and your circumstances of how you're living. So, who's your favorite that you comes to your mind now, and your favorite song that you can play?
Some of the best songs. Am I allowed to pick two?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Number one is Bob Marley.
Okay.
Because I believe he was a prophet. His music, his lyrics resonate with me quite a lot. I will struggle with the second one because I have quite a few artists that have made me the person I am today, and I still listen to them.
Oh wait, so favorite Bob Marley song or most impactful to you? I know it's a lot. That's a difficult one.
I don't have one.
Okay, you don't.
I don't have one. I wanna love you. I mean that's just that's a love song, but it's conscious lyrics. Anyway, Bob Marley. I'm not gonna give you one Bob Marley song. Okay. Can I have three now?
See? That's why you don't get them prepared, because the list comes like this.
All right. Marvin Gaye.
Okay.
Yeah. Gil Scott-Heron.
Okay. Tell me about the third one. I don't know who that is.
Oh, he did the bottle. He did The Revolution Will Not Be Televised.
Okay.
That's Gil Scott-Heron.
Okay.
Funny enough, one of my very good friend, Malik Al-Nassar, he's just written a book called Letters to Gil. He was in Bristol last Friday.
Oh, wow.
Talking at the University of Bristol. And Malik, during the days of Bantu in the 80s, Malik was one of the people that Hambi, our manager, brought in to help us, to guide us, to manage us. And if you pick up the book Letters to Gil, it talks about Bantu in there, and he mentioned my name.
Oh, wow.
I was quite excited when I saw it. I was like, whoa, this is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
So those are your three.
Those are my three today. I might have a different set tomorrow, but Marley always stays in the first three for me.
Okay, that's good. Female.
Woo. No, that's a hard one.
Yeah, and you get three. I'll give you three again.
You get three.
Yeah,
all right. Soul singer Gladys Knight.
Yeah.
Right. Conscious singer Nina Simone.
Yeah.
Okay, another one you want from me. All right. There's so many. Can I separate hair from hair? Okay. I'll just come a bit closer to today. Lauryn Hill.
Okay. Lauryn Hill. Miseducation. that album is. I didn't understand it when it came out.
Yep.
I understood, obviously, the songs that were commercial, the doo-wops and the great songs, great vocalists, but I didn't understand the importance, I guess, to women as not being a woman.
Yeah.
That album is. Because she's a great vocalist, but she's a great rapper too.
Sure.
But not just a rapper in terms of the art, but also the consciousness, the levels beneath what she was talking about.
Yep.
So that album was...
Yeah. Well, you want to check out Lauryn Hill Unplugged.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that one.
Obviously, she's still writing and making songs now.
Yeah. The Fugees just reunited for like a tour, which is cool.
You're not gonna ask me who my current
I am. I'm getting to
rapper.
So okay, I'm gonna ask you two questions in terms of rapper. Yeah.
Right.
To you, who is the single greatest rapper of all time?
Oh my word! How can I have an answer for that?
No, you have to. This is my show.
All right. All right. In terms of artistic delivery,
yeah,
it has to be Big Daddy Kane for me.
Okay. Did you watch the verses? Big, you know where? Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be okay. Now you just in terms of you see the thing with rap is when they're conscious, I like all of them. Right, Big Daddy Kane, obviously he was quick. He was really artistic. I mean, we go back again. We think about Curtis Blow and people like that. And you mentioned KRS-One just there, who I had the pleasure of meeting in Liverpool. He again KRS-One, lyrically that first album with Scotland Rock. You know, that one, man, South Bronx.
The Bridges
Whoa,
album.
that album was something else. Again, it was reflective of the period we were in Liverpool growing up.
At the time.
And Bantu was quite reflective of all that, you know, because he was talking about the community, you know. So I would say,
so you say
artistically, I like his flow during the time. I mean, obviously not now. Not today. There's so many other rappers out there today who are killing it for me, which I do like. Shall I just Roxanne Shante maybe as well?
Okay.
During that time, you know, I know there are a lot of lyricists now who are doing stuff, but I just would like to keep my favorite to my favorite still, you know.
Okay, yeah.
You know, there were two Roxanne. There's a real Roxanne.
Yeah,
and there's Roxanne
I saw the documentary.
Yeah, the real Roxanne.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the second question?
So, the first question was, who's your favorite? You said Big Daddy Kane, so that was it. Who's your favorite now?
Now? Oh.
And you don't have to say favorite in the same endearment. Who can you listen to? Because I know that for people who are not necessarily of this current generation, it's difficult.
I said I'm not from this generation.
No, I'm not saying that.
Was that old man?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. See, I didn't say that. I said I was very politically correct.
No, I'm proud.
Yeah,
I'm proud to be
so,
here.
Who is good to you now? Who has a high level skill set?
You know what? I like Stormzy. I like Dave. I can listen to those. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, I can listen. You know, UK rap is taking the total turn. You know, UK rap is really out there now. You know, so I like to come back home, and I'll say Dave. I'll say Dave.
I'm a big fan of Dave. I like Stormzy, but I'll give you a but. I don't know if I should say this in my first episode, but it doesn't matter. I like him. I respect what he's achieved.
Yeah.
My issue is when he was challenged by Chip.
All right.
And this is just me because I'm a rapper. Yeah. When he was challenged, he didn't respond. All the people that
Did he not respond?
No.
Did he not have a track to respond to Chip?
No. So he did.
So what's wrong with that?
He sent certain shots on tracks, but he didn't respond directly. Now, for me as an MC, if someone said my name, I have to.
Yeah, but this is.
I know, and the thing is, I know this is industry.
Yeah.
You're on top now. You've got money, but I feel like even 50 Cent.
Yeah. Look. History tells us that having beef is not the way forward.
No, it's not.
Right.
I know it's not. But here's my point. Yeah. As an MC, I've been able to solve a lot of issues, by making a song as opposed to going out there and doing something else.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
So creatively is an outlet for you to solve certain things. I know.
So you believe he should have responded?
I believe as an MC, the competitive nature should make you want to.
Yeah, but what's the youngsters going to think? What the youngsters going to be thinking that they're having beef, and then they might even take examples from that.
No, that's
look at Tupac, look at Biggie. We will always look back in anger and say, "Oh, I wish that never happened to hip hop, the music we love so much."
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? You know, if they responded and it got out of hand.
I hear what you're saying, but I feel like there's been other lyrical wars, like Chipmunk and Bugsy Malone. You've got Chipmunk and a lot of them seem to be him. But the point is,
maybe they should come on and say, "Well, we're just going to have a lyrical war." It's not for real, first and foremost, because the youngsters ain't going to understand it. I can understand having a rap battle, in front of you, just have a rap battle.
But there's been other lyrical warfare in the UK scene that has not led to violence.
Okay.
The Chipmunk and Bugsy Malone one being the biggest example, because Bugsy Malone is from Manchester, Chipmunk is from Tottenham. So it could have been, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And they resolved it now. They're friends. Yeah. They've made songs. So these things do take a cycle, but I do feel that I understand your point, and I didn't think about that before. That's true. The knock-on effect and
the youngsters, because your music is predominantly, what is it, grime?
Well, it's drill.
Drill,
grime.
Who's listening to them? Young stars, and they want to aspire to be like you. So I think Stormzy might have had a very mature approach to delivering.
But he started it though.
He started it.
That's my point.
And then he ran away from it. Is that what you say?
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that's too judgmental. And I'll be honest, he's a man who's worth X amount of multi-million, so maybe it's just beneath him, and that's fine. But I feel like
Did he go to his house or something?
yeah, this is my point. Okay, this is my point. Now we're gonna get into it. This is my point. He went to Chipmunk's house, yeah.
In a Lamborghini. Is it?
Yeah, whatever car you want, it doesn't matter. I prefer you go in a Toyota Yaris because you're doing something else. But anyway, he's gone to his house. He's initiated what is considered a street offense. Then, yeah, we'll just call it that. Chipmunk has made a song in response to your attempt to be violent, and then you've not said anything.
Okay, maybe it was advised by his peers to say, well, can we kill this now?
That's good advice, but they should have given that to him before he got in the car. Because now you've done something and it's been filmed. Obviously, we're in a world of cameras everywhere. Yeah. And I feel like you had a lyrical responsibility to respond. It doesn't matter now.
Yeah, have you ever thought about it as part of the game? To just, tomorrow, if you get Stormzy and Chipmunk comes on a track,
I would love it.
It would blow up.
I would love it.
It would blow up. It was like, wow, they're back together. That is
I would
news.
want to know the journey of how you got from when you were over there and you were on opposite sides to how you got back here. That's why I respect the Chipmunk and Bugsy Malone song that he done on his album so much, because I saw the journey of Chipmunk being in a position where he was the Stormzy then of the time, Bugsy Malone being in a position where he was fighting for his survival and not being anyone like reputable at the time, for then him going on that journey to be successful, being of stature, very reputable, the headline act of Manchester, to then make up with Chip and then do a song. That's what I call poetic.
Poetic.
Yeah.
Poetic justice.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always have to be that way. I just would like it to be that way, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start making amends and let's work together. Let's be happy. Although the industry doesn't want that. That's
No,
what
it
they say.
but we should want
We
that.
should want that, especially when we talk about disconnect.
Yeah.
We have power in the words that we use, and we can encourage and kind of get back that connectivity that we aspire to have.
Yeah, it's true. So, you talked about your journey in your band, your kind of upbringing and what it was like for you in Liverpool. So now you're in Bristol. So what do you do now?
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay, I present a Sunday evening show on BBC Radio Bristol. Yeah, I have a fantastic team of people I work with there.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's only one day.
Yeah,
Besides that, I had to retrain. Like I said, I left school with absolutely nothing. But since went back to university to study, did media studies and journalism. I did a master's in interactive multimedia and computing.
Okay.
So that is the line I followed because I have to feed the belly.
Yeah.
Put food on the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There.
Yeah.
So I'm a software engineer. In terms, I do software testing. I do release management. That is what I essentially do at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I still produce at home.
The fire still
I still produce at home. Yeah, bro.
That's good.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about the journey.
Yeah.
That's why I needed to ask that question, because I'm someone who needs the journey. I need the beginning, the middle, and the end. Because I think
there's never an end.
Well, not end. Sorry. I don't.
Mean I know what you mean.
I need the conclusion to certain parts of the story, and I'm like that personally as well.
Yeah. Well, I came to Bristol because I wanted to empower my kind. I wanted to empower my family in terms of the black family, and I found Bristol as a place where because I came here to teach radio. There was a charity in St. Paul's called C Charity Limited. That's where I got my first job. Yeah, I think
that's where I met you.
That was back in the 90s.
And when you built that studio upstairs with the guy with the curly hair who used to run it, I can't remember.
Tim Kirby.
Tim.
Yes.
That's the first time I recorded, paid for studio sessions, and That's the first song I recorded.
It's going back to 1998,
Yeah.
99.
Yeah.
You know?
I was young then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
super young.
Yeah.
Like, probably not, should have been out.
Well, that essentially, I believe that's my life, because I, you know, you come here 1 minute, the next minute you're gone. Forget whether it's 100 years you live for, but you have to look back and say, what legacy you leave? What did you do for your kind? What did you do for the human race? What's your carbon footprint you live in? So I derive a lot of satisfaction, a lot of content from meeting people like you. If I can help, or if you can help me out, then please help me.
It's two ways. Help is two ways.
I just believe in empowerment, which is why the community work I did in Bristol has really, really been very fulfilling for me. I like Bristol. I found something different from coming from Liverpool at the time. Obviously, I didn't tell you, I still do voluntary work for Ujima Radio CIC in Bristol, which I have found as well. With Tim, like you just mentioned, we worked together, and the outcome of our work was Ujima Radio, which is there today. You know, obviously it's voluntary. So yes, essentially that's what I do. And it doesn't stop there. Why I say there's no end is I'm going to walk out of this studio today. I'm going to be out there. The story continues. You know, I don't know who I'm going to meet on the way. You know, I might find myself doing something new right then and there. So
that's what it is.
Come back next year. That will be Black History.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You heard it here first, yeah? The Make It Easy podcast, first episode. I am Be Easy. This is my guest, Mr. Kevin Philman, my brother. Stay tuned for the next one.